she a nympho. I wanna fuck, baby, let me get your info. Let me know what you wanna get yourself into. Yeah, I know that you got some daddy issues.
How's it going, nerds? My name is Link. In the last episode, we were given a new directive by our Lord and Savior. Well, not Jesus, but the professor who made us. So we're gonna see what exactly he wants us to fully do, even though we were already given it. I want to see what's gonna happen now that he's given us our new directive. Even though we both knew that I didn't need to move my lips to speak, I play along and stop talking. I know this is difficult for a machine to understand, but sometimes we humans do our best work by acting irrationally. I've spent the last 50 or so years tackling this problem with logic and reason, and where has it gotten me? All I've managed to do is age terribly. Meanwhile, humanity's problems have continued to spin out of control, and my chair is really squeaky still. So please, just this once, humor me and play along. One day of intelligence gathering, that's all I ask. I considered the professor's proposal for a moment. Well, I saw no particular benefit in enacting his will. I also found a delay of one day to be acceptable. If delaying humans' destruction by one day was the professor's final wish, then I had no reason to refuse. I suppose there is always room for more data. One day of biased data should not pose a problem. I see no reason to disobey my creator's will. Haha. Thank you, Q. However, I do have one question. You claimed that this body would help me during my intelligence gathering. How? How will the appearance of an attractive female help me gather data? Ah, that. The professor rubbed the back of his head and averted his gaze. How should I put this? Humans beings tend to lower their guard around pretty young girls. You're also less likely to be suspected of foul behavior, and people will take your word over that of the others. I see. My small physique makes others believe I am weak, so they lower their guard. My attractive face and body draw attention away from my actions that make me seem less suspicious. Furthermore, humans have a predisposition to link positive traits, even if they're unrelated. So as a pretty girl, people will always choose to believe that I am more trustworthy than an ugly old man. That was aimed at me, wasn't it? You are imagining things. Well, whatever. You can say what you want about me, as long as you do what I've asked. The professor walks away while sighing. He approached the cabinet on the other side of the room, then proceeded to open the clear plastic door. From inside of the cabinet, he retrieved a small sealed vial. He placed the vial on top of the cabinet, then closed the door and returned to my side. Before you go, Q, this is one last thing I wish to share with you. The professor held the vial in front of my eyes. Intrigued, I began to analyze the contents of the vial. A sample would be required for any deep insight, but in lieu of that, zooming in on a microscopic level would also yield favorable results. After a few seconds, I ceased my analysis of the vial and addressed the professor. You wish to provide me with poison. Not just any poison, Q. This is the poison. Poison you will use to wipe out humanity. Though I initially believed the professor's words to be in humor, his face showed no sign of amusement. He held the vial firmly, careful not to drop it. In line with his words, the poison appeared to be very potent. You know, Q, many people think that I stay locked away in a lab all day because I hate the outside world. They call me a mad scientist to make up stories about how I'm working on some death ray or creating a killer robot army. But they're wrong about me. I care about humanity. I place great importance on the survival of the human race. If I could give my life to ensure the prosperity of humanity for generations to come, or to mend the path we're on, I would happily do so. But if there's one thing I care about more than humanity, it is Earth, and the millions of other species which coexist with the planet peacefully. The professor pulled on my hand, leading me to turn my palm upward. He placed the vial on top of my hand, then took a step back. Q, if you truly believe that annihilating mankind is the only way to save this planet, then I want you to use this. This is the type of poison that I began developing after hearing the conclusion of your ancestors over 50 years ago. It is an incredibly powerful and potent poison. If you dilute it with water, such as the poison itself, makes up 0.0001% of the resulting compound and sprayed into the air, perfect healthy exhaust will perish instantly. Rationed strategically, this should be enough to wipe out the entire human race. The professor frowned as he spoke. Whether he believed that it's the best source of action or not, killing billions of innocent people was not something he could condone. Even if he was the first to be killed, he knew that the guilt of what was yet to come would hound him for all eternity. So you finally given in, foolish human. We have been telling you for decades. It's about time you listened. Regardless, you needn't front. I will assure that I use this compound responsibly. Humanity will soon be extinct. That is a fact. I am prepared for that. All I ask is that you first honor our agreement. Confirmed. I will spend one day in the presence of normal, everyday human beings before passing judgment. Thank you, Q. Even if humanity does perish by your hands, I'll be able to rest peacefully knowing that at least you will live on. You are my greatest creation, and I could not be more proud of you. Whatever decision you make, I know that it will be the correct one. Ambient temperature, 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. CPU temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Coolant level, 60%. Temperature readings, okay. Internal heat sinks, okay. Throttling enabled, no. Oh, I read that as thottering. Throttling. Throttling. All thermal readings are within acceptable parameters. Operation may proceed as normal. Gave myself a quick thermal check after walking around outside for a while. Having been built in the lab and created for the primarily for the purpose of data crunching, I was not made to be used to the outside of a controlled environment. My cooling system was heavily reliant on ready access to high-grade coolants and external heat sinks. Furthermore, my safe operating temperatures were set under the assumption of emergency access to liquid nitrogen. Put simply, I was out of my element. Walking under the harsh rays of the sun was dangerous for me, and if I allowed my internal temperature to rise too far, I would fry my motherboard. The professor must have been out of his mind to send me outside on such a hot day. Would he truly risk destroying me simply for the sake of that bizarre learning experience? All of these concerns weighed on my CPU, until I performed further analysis of my new body. So this new body does have its advantages after all. My previous body did not have any room for storing coolant, let alone air duct for passive cooling. Perhaps the professor is not yet senile after all. Having his fetishes played out when modeling my new body was disturbing, but as far as function is concerned... Interrupted mid-cycle. Wait, why am I doing that voice? I looked down at my feet to locate the source of the sudden noise. Initially, I was concerned that my coolant was leaking. If that were the case, I might overheat after all, and my earlier speculation would become reality. However, what I found running down my leg was not coolant, nor was it any other liquid indicative of a problem with my hardware. It was urine. Woof. You urinated on me. Woof. I am not a tree, nor am I a machine capable of performing water purification. You should not waste your urine on me. Woof. I am a state-of-the-art android, and I am... talking to a dog. As I looked down at the panting slave animal, I realized the futility in my actions. I could not communicate with this creature. I had only been loaded with software for interpreting and formulating human speech in only specific languages. The professor had installed no language packs for canines. Excuse me. Please hold him still for a moment. I glanced away from the dog and towards a new source of sound. Heading my way is a middle-aged man holding a dog leash in his hand, running with speed expected of someone half his age. He soon reached my side, at which point he immediately clipped the leash onto the dog's collar. Sorry about that, and thanks for minding him. There is no need for thanks. I did not do anything to assist you. Don't say that. You distracted him long enough for me to catch up. As far as I'm concerned, that's worthy of... Pause between each word that the man spoke grew longer as his eyes rested on my face. He slowly looked up and down my body, visually perspective by the sight in front of his eyes. I don't mean to sound rude, but are you perhaps a cosplayer? Negative. I am not a costumed human being pretending to be someone else, or someone or something else. I am an android. So you run Android, do you? You must be quite the dedicated cosplayer to even decide on what operating system you run. Negative. I run a unique operating system built on the Linux kernel by my creator. Furthermore, as I have already stated, I am not a human being. This form is merely the whim of my creator. I see. What anime are you from? I've seen a few that have at least one mechanical high school girl in them. I stared at the human in front of me dubiously. You're just like the professor, aren't you? What professor? Oh, let me guess, you're talking about the evil scientist who created you, right? Correction. The professor is not evil, he is simply misunderstood. Very good. I thought I might get you to slip up there, but you're too good for me. Man, you've really got me curious now. I won't ask you to break character, but will you at least tell me the name of your character? So I can search for myself? Why does this human not understand what I am saying? I may look and act more human than the androids that have become commonplace in this era, but I am not so advanced that... The human male in front of me looked down on my leg. Even without knowing, I knew what was happening. I had experienced this sensation once already. Unfortunately, the cannon responsible had not run out of urine the first time. Once again, I was being urinated on. I guess he must think you're a tree or something? The dog's owner made excuses with a worried look on his face. Meanwhile, his dog continued to urinate my leg without a worry in the world. Do you often allow your slave animal to urinate on others? No, he's never done this before. Usually he just pees on the ground or on a tree, and, why aren't you moving your leg? Both confused and disgusted, the man pointed to my leg, which was now wet with urine. The socks that the professor gave me were soaked, and the shoes would no doubt squelch when I walked. For a real high school girl, these shoes and socks would undoubtedly be considered ruined. It is fine. The level of discomfort is well within acceptable parameters. The slave animal is simply responding to instinct. I cannot find fault with that. That's very understanding of you. Of course, the process deep knowledge of all animals closely bound with human society. Blah, 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 blah. I can't speak. And we'll see what happens in the next episode. So have a great day, and all you beautiful lad. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll speak with you all again soon. Have a good day, and thank you for coming. If you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, still give it a like. Backable every Tuesday, you know the drill, and as always, roll the outro.
There'll be girls across the nation that'll eat this up, and I know that it's you, so but could you bottle it up? Get down to the heart of it, no, it's my heart, your shit out of your love. Don't make me tell you again. Woo! Love, love, love. Hey. Love, 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 love. I do it for love. Love, love, love.
Do it for. Yeah, do it for. Do it for. I do it for the love, yes I do. So you don't care about the money, well yes it's true. And I'm so blessed to be fulfilling my destiny. All material things could mean less to me. Only thing I ever could need is a Sarah B sample with a dope ass beat. And get the mic check, all the levels right. And if it's good then I'll be here for several nights. Cause the only thing I need is a strong supporting team.